This play is unique as time goes backwards. We begin at the end of the tragedy and see it through to the beginning. Time, the present.
Dear Marigold, I don't really know what I want to say, or how I want to say it, but I need to speak to you somehow, even though I know you'll never read this letter. But it's my only chance. They wouldn't let me see you at the hospital. Something about family only, they said. I sort of understand what they meant. But we were like family, weren't we? Closer in lots of ways, especially with your family. Oh, they're all right, really, I know, especially Simon. But you know what they say. You can choose your friends, but not your family. And you chose me, and I you, of course. Remember how in infant school they put us next to each other on the first day? Mom said I cried like anything. Of course, I don't remember. You didn't cry. Mom said.
Look at Marigold, Linda.
Mom said she said.
She isn't crying. She's a big girl.
Mrs. Murdoch always said you were the grown-up one in the class. I suppose that's why I always got those jobs, like passing out pencils and collecting the scissors.
There's never any missing when Marigold collects them,
Mrs. Murdoch used to say. It was like she was accusing all the rest of us of being secret scissor snatchers or something. I wish they had let me see you. Then I could have said goodbye properly. Andrea said there wasn't much to see. Said you were all covered in bandages and tubes. She said...
It's no big deal, Linda.
She said...
She's just lying there like a vegetable or something.
But then she's never been particularly sensitive, has she? Honestly, you'd never know she was your sister if you didn't know. I've probably seen more of Andrea since the accident than in all the time before. Even when we were all at school at the same time. But then I suppose older sisters never want much to do with you in public. Bad for their image or something. And Andrea certainly is image conscious, isn't she? I haven't got any brothers or sisters, so I don't really know. You were like a sister and a friend all at the same time. What am I gonna do now? I wish they'd let me see you, Marigold.
At the hospital.
Do you think they'll let us see her again, Mom?
Why should they? There's nothing that we haven't seen already.
I wasn't asking you. What do you care?
I don't know, Simon. I'm sure they'll tell if it's all right too.
I do care. Of course I care.
You've got a strange way of showing it. You've always been jealous of Marigold. And now she's...
Simon, that's enough.
Well, it's true. Andrea's always...
I said that's enough, Simon.
I can't help being jealous. I've always had to get on with things. Never had much encouragement for anything.
Oh, Andrea, how can you say that?
Quite easily, as a matter of fact. Marigold's always been your favorite, just because she's more clever than me.
I've always tried to treat you all equally.
Well, you haven't tried hard enough, actually.
Andrea, this is not the time.
Andrea doesn't have much of a sense of timing.
Shut up, Simon.
I know I might have done more for all of you. It's hard trying to balance things sometimes. Your father's job takes him away a lot, so I've tried to make the right decisions when he's not been there.
Someone has got to pay the mortgage.
I'm not criticizing you, Graham. I'm just saying it's been difficult sometimes.
You've never said so before.
Maybe I've never had the chance before, or never taken the chance. It always seemed to be a case of getting around to things when there was time, only there never seemed to be time somehow. There was always so much to do, just keeping things running smoothly, you know? The little things. Keeping the house respectable, making sure everyone had clean clothes to wear, feeding you all. It's difficult doing all that and having a job as well, but I never complained. I always thought it was, well, part of the job. No, that's what you think, Graham, a woman's place and so on. I'd wish I'd been able to find the time, make time to talk to you all more often, at all even. Find out what you were really thinking and feeling. And that time, all that time we were talking about Marigold's future, I never once really talked really talked to her about it. Found out what she really wanted. I've been much too busy to take notice of things. I've let your father have his own way too much, probably. It's easy to do that when you're tired.
There's no point in crying over spilt milk, Elizabeth.
Of course, there's a point. If you don't, things will never change. You just can't carry on the same all the time, especially when something like this has happened. It's too late now for me with Marigold.
Don't say that, Mom. We don't know yet.
If we don't cry over spilt milk, if we can't change the things when things happen, we'll never learn. I'll never be able to know how Marigold felt. So don't say there's no point in crying, Graham. It's about all I can do now.
All right, Elizabeth, you don't have the monopoly on feeling guilty. I know I should have made more time for you and the kids. I thought I knew it was best for Marigold, that's all. Parents know these things, don't they? Learn from my mistakes, we're always telling them. But do they listen? Of course not. I thought I knew what was best when it was time for me to leave school. But my father made me see sense in leaving and getting a job. Earning's better than learning, he always told me. And I haven't done badly, have I? I've provided for you all, kept a roof over your heads.
But you're never at home, Dad. We hardly see you. And when we do, it's just so you can tell us what we ought to be doing, like me. I didn't get a choice, did I? No point in staying on at school, Andrea, you said. Go and get a job, make yourself useful, bring something in. Is that all you want for us? To make ourselves useful? Is that what you wanted for Marigold? Making her get that dead-end shop job so she could feel like she's making herself useful?
Andrea, let's not.
That's not what, Mom. Speak the truth.
Not now, not here.
What's wrong with here? If we weren't here, we wouldn't be saying all of this, would we? We just...
Why can't you all just shut up? Marigold's in there on the point of... Just shut up, will you?
Well, he's not the only one to have feelings. I've always wanted to get on with Marigold. It's just she always seemed to be the one who couldn't fail. Even if her parents couldn't find the time to talk to her. She was just so good at everything.
What do you mean was?
You know what I meant. It just doesn't seem fair. Somehow I know I'm not always very friendly to her. But she's my little sister. Everyone knows sisters can't be friends until they're grown up. Sometimes not even then. So I would have been, will be, when we are, both of us, grown up.
We all need to make a fresh start.
Make more time.
First thing we'll do when we get home is sit down and have a good talk.
Maybe we all need to get to know each other again.
Simon?
It's too late.
Earlier that day,
I don't know why they can't let us see her. It'd cheer her up if she saw her friends.
I don't think she'd know we were there, Vicky. She's not conscious.
When she wakes up then.
She might not.
What, wake up? You mean she might...
It was a bad accident.
Still, we're her friends. You'd think that they might let us see her for a bit, just a minute or two, or at least let us know how she's doing. What about that last rehearsal? Wasn't it a scream? I thought Miss Traynor was going to have a fit. It was so bad. Except Marigold, of course. She was perfect, as usual. When she did the sleepwalking scene, I could feel all the hairs on my back of my neck go tingly. It was creepy. And then she just stopped moaning, to bed, to bed, to bed. And you just know she's not going to sleep but die. Sorry, I didn't mean...
I sometimes wonder what you've got in your head, Vicky. Is there any connection between your brain and your tongue?
Sorry, I didn't think.
Precisely.
Sorry.
Hello.
Hi. I was wondering, is this where Marigold...
Yes, she's in there.
But they won't let us see her.
Oh,
Do you know her?
sort of. I'm Jane.
Oh, from the shop.
Yes, Mr. Porter said I ought to come.
Mr. Porter?
The boss.
Oh.
How is she?
We don't know really. They won't let us see her.
Oh.
She's in intensive care. We think she might... It's very bad.
I didn't know her that well, really. She just worked in the shop Saturdays. Busy day Saturday, so we never had much of a chance to. But she was doing really well.
I don't think she enjoyed it very much.
My dad won't let me get a Saturday job. Says I need to spend all my time on schoolwork. Says if I don't, I won't be able to get any job when I leave school, let alone in a shop.
It's not that bad. It's not just serving. You can be a management trainee.
Are you?
No, didn't fancy it. Could have been, just didn't fancy it.
I'd quite fancy that. That management thing. You get to tell everyone else what to do in that. That'd suit me all right. Only my dad says.
Vicky, do you really think now is the time to be discussing job prospects?
Well,
No, the answer is no.
I'm not bothered about a career, really. Marigold could have had one. Mr. Porter was quite keen on her, as a trainee, I mean.
She isn't interested. She could have done anything she wants. She was gonna be so... is gonna be so... God, it's not fair.
A day earlier at home.
When are you going to the hospital?
I don't know.
You could go now. Mom and Dad are there.
Simon, I just got it in. I'll go when I'm ready, alright?
It was a bad accident.
I know it was a bad accident. But me being at the hospital isn't going to change that, is it? Anyway, why aren't you there?
I wanted to go. Dad thought I'd be better off if I stayed here. I think he thinks I wouldn't be able to cope. He still thinks I'm a kid or something.
You are still a kid.
I'm nearly 16.
I rest my case.
At least I care. I'd be there if they let me.
I do care. I'm tired, that's all.
You don't care. You never have, as far as Marigold's concerned. You've always gone out of your way to be nasty to her, just because she can do things you can't. Why can't you just accept her for who she is?
She's my sister. There's not much I can do about it.
What's that supposed to mean?
We just have to put up with each other, don't we? Just like I'm having to put up with you now.
You don't have to put up with me. You could go to the hospital.
For heaven's sake, Simon, stop going on. I'll go when I'm ready.
And suppose that's too late.
What do you mean, too late?
You know what I mean. It was a bad accident.
You always have to do the right thing, don't you? Just so that everyone can say how Simon is such a nice person, especially Marigold. You've always wanted Marigold to like you more than me, haven't you? Why does it matter what she thinks? Why do you always go crawling to her when you want someone to say how wonderful you are?
She's always been ready to listen. Not like you, or Mom, or Dad.
You need to stand on your own 2 feet a bit more, Simon. You can't always rely on someone else to tell you what to do. Anyway, I could tell you what you want to hear just as easily as Marigold or anyone else. It's just that I'm more honest. You might not like what you won't get from me.
No one likes what they get from you, Andrea.
A day earlier at school.
What do you think will happen now, miss? About the play?
You mean because of Marigold, Vicky? Is that it?
Well, yes.
I don't think we should make any hasty decisions, do you?
Well, no. I just said that if Marigold wasn't able to,
We don't know yet whether she'll be able to carry on yet or not, do we, Vicky? There's still 13 weeks to go.
Until we hear more about how she is, I don't want to make any changes.
It's going to be quite difficult rehearsing without her, though, isn't it? Lady Macbeth is quite an important character, isn't she?
Of course she's an important character. That's why Marigold's playing the part, because she's better than anyone else.
Well, I wouldn't have played it the same as her. I think she's making her much too passionate. I'd be much colder.
But you're not playing the part, are you, Vicky?
I don't think this is very helpful. The point is, although Lady Macbeth is an important part, there are lots of scenes she doesn't appear in. So, we can reschedule some of the rehearsals and then pick up on Marigold's scenes again when she's back.
We don't know when she'll be back, though, do we? Simon, her brother, says they think it was quite bad.
Let's wait until we get some official news, Vicky, shall we? I don't want to replace Marigold if there's a chance she can carry on. I know I can rely on her to work out the part even harder if she's had to miss some rehearsals.
Anyway, Miss Traynor, we haven't got anyone who could take over for her, have we? I think the best thing would be, if Marigold is too ill to carry on, that we cancel the play and put it on again when she's better.
We don't know if she's going to get better. I could learn the lines ever so quickly, miss. I know a lot of them already.
Let's wait and see, Vicky, shall we?
Yes, let's wait and see. We've canceled the play. We all thought it was best. Even though Vicky, the daft bird brain, thought you would have wanted us to carry on. I mean, she kept going on about the spirit of the theater or something. I don't know where she gets it all from. I mean, she reads magazine articles and stuff that she doesn't understand and then spills it all out to impress us. Who does she think she's fooling? Anyway, Miss Traynor and the rest of us felt we couldn't carry on. And then Vicky goes on about
The curse of the Scottish play.
She's got about as much sensitivity as someone serving up a pork chop at a bar mitzvah. I know she's harmless, really. You can't help smiling while you're beating her up, though. We had some good times, though, didn't we? Some laughs. What about the time we skeeved off to get your mom a birthday present from Woolsworth? I'd never have dared if you hadn't made me. Do you remember how I wouldn't go to the local one, so we had to catch the bus to Stanton to go to the one there instead? Oh, and then we bumped into Miss Traynor by the pick and mix. Well, I didn't know it was her afternoon off and that she lived in Stanton, did I? She would have blamed me too if you hadn't come forward. You lost a few brownie points there, Marigold. Of course, it didn't take you long to earn them back, especially with Miss Traynor. Talk about do no wrong. Funny how people have short memories when it suits them. That's all we've got, though. Now, isn't it? Memories? They say your memory fades as you get older. Mine won't, Marigold, it won't.
Earlier that same day, at school,
I can't get the hang of my character at all. I mean, there's not much to go on, is there? Third witch. What does that tell you? They're all the same, aren't they? But Miss Traynor says we've got to make them different somehow. Maybe we should all have different nose or something. I was reading this article about Laurence Olivier, and he used to find his characters through the makeup.
Don't you think that's a bit of an exaggeration, Vicky?
No, not at all. This article said he often couldn't find the kernel of his characterization until he put on the makeup and looked at himself for hours and hours in the mirror. Even if he wasn't playing a colonel, apparently.
So you're gonna lock yourself in the bathroom with a false nose, are you?
Don't be daft. No one be able to go to the loo. No, I'll do it in my bedroom.
I think you should just let the words do it for you. It's all there if you look for it.
You sound like Marigold. Use the text, she says. It's all right for her. She's got some decent text to use. Where is she anyway? We're going to be late if she doesn't get a move on.
Perhaps she's in the bathroom getting into character.
No, I've just been in there. She's not. Oh, shut up, you.
It's not like Marigold to be late, though, especially for a rehearsal. Anyway, what are you talking about? You've got some decent lines, haven't you?
Yeah, right? Like, a drum, Macbeth doth come. Real deep stuff. I'd fancy doing Lady M, so long as I didn't have to do the, rude bits.
I don't know what you're talking about, Vicky.
Come on, Lynn. The rude bits come to my woman's, and I had given,
What?
I just couldn't say things like that without curling up. I don't know how Marigold does it with such a straight face.
Maybe it has something to do with being talented. Then again, maybe she just spends plenty of time locked in the bathroom.
You don't give up, do you? Hi, Andrea. How's things?
Are you waiting for Marigold?
Yeah, she's a bit late. Do you want us to give her a message or something?
No, I've got a message for you. She's not coming. There's been an accident.
What, you mean the bathroom door is stuck?
What sort of accident?
It's Marigold. She's been hurt.
Hurt?
They've taken her to the hospital.
At home the same day.
Mom,
Yes?
did you do Tudor history at school?
I can't remember, Simon.
Well, I can't see the point, really.
The point of what?
I mean, it's quite interesting, I suppose, but it's not really relevant, is it?
What isn't, dear?
Has Marigold spoken to you about going to university?
About what, dear?
Going to university.
No, she hasn't. Should she have done?
She wants to. Miss Traynor's been talking to her about it.
She's not said anything. Anyway, I don't really know about things like that. She'll have to talk to your father about it.
Fat lot of good that'd do.
What?
You know what he thinks. It's all a waste of time.
Well, he knows best about these things. He's had a lot of experience.
Not of university.
That's not done him any harm. Look, Simon, I really can't talk about this. Marigold will have to speak to your father when they get in.
You could at least have a chat with her about it. I know she wants to. She'd feel like you're at least taking an interest. You always leave everything to Dad. Why can't you have a say?
All right, Simon. I'll talk to Marigold when she gets home. Get on with your geography.
History.
If I have to deal with another no-claim bonus this century, I'm going to scream. Honestly, you think people would know that no-claim bonus means what it says, wouldn't you? But apparently not. It was only a little claim, they say. Why can't I have the bonus? Are people stupid or what?
Good day, was it then?
Andrea didn't go to university, did you?
No, Mom, I didn't.
She hasn't done badly.
Mom, are you living on the same planet as the rest of us?
Andrea, don't.
I come home every day worn out from working in a dead-end job in a lashes office with no hope people, and you say I haven't done badly? Do you take any notice of what your family is doing or feeling?
Andrea, there's no need to.
Go out and get a job, Andrew, you said. It doesn't matter what.
Well, your father...
Earn a wage, you said. You don't want to waste another 3 years being educated about things that won't do you any good.
Your father thinks...
We all know what he thinks. We've heard it often enough. But have you ever stopped to wonder what he thinks is actually right?
I'll get it.
All right, Andrea. I realized you've had a bad day.
I've always had a bad day. Not that you care.
Hello, Linda. How are you?
Hello. Hi, Andrea. Is Marigold here? We've got rehearsal.
She's not home yet, Linda. She was popping into the shop on her way home to collect her wages. She oughtn't to be long. How's the play going?
You never asked Marigold that.
It's going really well. Miss Traynor's quite pleased.
What are you playing?
Oh, I'm the stage manager.
Oh, that's nice, dear.
Most important job, they keep telling me.
How's Marigold getting on?
Brilliant as usual, I suppose.
She's doing it fantastically, actually, really good. Every time she's on stage, the whole thing sort of comes to life.
How wonderful.
I was nearly in a production of Hamlet myself when I was in school.
It's Macbeth, Mother?
Oh yes, that's right. I remember Marigold telling me she got a good part.
She's playing Lady Macbeth. I suppose that's a good part as parts go.
She's got into character really well. Honestly, she makes my flesh creep some of the time. The way she says the lines, oh, and the sleepwalking scene makes your spine tingle.
Are you going to go see it, Mum?
Oh, well, I'll have to speak to your father. When's it on?
At the end of term, in about 2.5 months.
We'll have to look in the diary then.
I'm coming, Linda. What about you, Andrea?
What?
Are you coming to see Marigold's play?
Don't know. Might do. Shakespeare doesn't do much for me, really.
I'm coming anyway.
She ought to be here by now. I can't think of what's keeping her. It must be a lot of work for Miss...
Traynor, yes, that's what she's always telling us. Says we don't appreciate it.
But of course you all do, especially Marigold, I expect.
Marigold knows what it takes, yes. Look, I better go. I'm supposed to be setting up for rehearsal. Perhaps Marigold's just gone straight there. She's probably fuming now because nothing's ready. I'll see myself out.
I don't know why you didn't take part in things like that when you were at school, Andrea.
Maybe because I didn't want to.
But I'm sure you would have enjoyed it. Marigold seems to get so much out of it.
Marigold, Marigold. It's always Marigold. Why can't you just accept the fact that I'm not Marigold, Mother? In case you've forgotten, my name is Andrea.
Don't be silly, dear. Of course.
I'll get it. Shall I?
Andrea, I don't think...
Mom, there's a couple of police officers at the door. They say, can they speak to you?
At the shop where Marigold works a week earlier.
Evening Standard, please.
Evening Standard, 35 pence, please. You're Marigold's dad, aren't you?
Yes. How did you know?
I've seen you sometimes on Saturdays when you've dropped her off.
Ah, I see. How's she getting on?
Quite well, I think. Mr. Porter, the boss, he seems pleased. The customers seem to like her. Well, she's friendly, isn't she?
Yes. Yes, I suppose she is. I've never really thought about it. So, she's doing well then?
Yeah. Mr. Porter wants her to come in and work here full time when she leaves school. Management trainee, he says.
Does he indeed?
Yeah. In fact, I heard him the other day trying to persuade her to get her to leave school now.
What? Before her A-levels?
Yeah, something like that. He says she could do a lot worse.
He could be right. What did Marigold say?
She wasn't keen, really. Actually, tell you the truth, she's not that keen on the job at all. She wants to go to university or something, doesn't she?
Yes, maybe. I haven't really had the chance to talk with her about that.
That's what she told me anyway.
Well, thanks.
Jane.
Jane, yes, thanks. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Earlier that week, at home.
Well, it's all going here, no mistake. I do wish you two would be quiet for a moment and let someone else get a word in.
Andrea's had a bad day at work.
I haven't said that.
You don't have to. Anyway, do you ever have a good day?
Actually, today wasn't too bad, as a matter of fact.
Well, good, Andrea. I'm sure your father will be pleased to hear that.
Pleased to hear what?
Andrea's had a good day at work, she says.
I didn't say it was good. I said it wasn't too bad. There's a difference.
Anyway, at least you can appreciate the value of having a job. Doing something useful, earning a bit of money instead of wasting your time.
Wasting your time doing what, Dad?
Oh, you know what I mean, Simon. Wasting your time at the taxpayer's expense and getting a lot of so-called knowledge that won't earn you any more money.
Here we go.
Graham, I've been meaning to speak to you. Marigold's been on at me again.
Oh, yes?
You know she's really keen to do well at school.
She is doing well, isn't she?
Don't we take it as read that Marigold does well at everything?
Well, you know what her teacher said last week, Graham. And Marigold is very keen to go to university.
I might have been keen to go to university, but a fat lot of good it did me.
Don't talk daft, Andrea. You couldn't wait to get out of education. We didn't see you for dust at the end of your last term. Miss Traynor said it was like watching a road runner disappearing over the horizon.
I suppose you think that's funny?
Yeah, I actually do.
You were sensible, Andrea. You recognized the value of getting a decent job and...
Getting a job anyway.
Well, you have to start somewhere. You can't expect to be spoon-fed. I wasn't.
It's just that Marigold seems to be the right sort to, She's getting good grades in nearly everything, and it seems a shame if she can't at least try. It seems logical somehow.
You mean to go to university just for the sake of going, with no idea what you're going to do when you've finished? There's just no point, Elizabeth. I've done all right without wasting 3 or 4 years of my life, and Andrea's doing all right.
Depends on what you mean by all right.
You didn't want to go anyway.
That's not the point. I should have been given the choice.
Well, what's best for you isn't necessarily what's best for Marigold, is it? I mean, she's different.
And don't we all just know it? Marigold this, Marigold that. Look at wonderful little sister Marigold. Isn't she doing well? Could she ever do anything wrong as far as you're concerned?
Andrea, I didn't mean...
I'm going out. And the sooner I can find somewhere else to live, the better.
Don't you think it would be a good idea to involve Marigold in this? It's hardly fair to be discussing her future when she's not even here to speak for herself.
Where is she, anyways?
At a rehearsal for that play.
She's only playing the lead in that play.
She can have her say if she likes. No one can accuse me of not listening. Where did you say she was?
Well, you talk to her then, Graham. You tell her why she can't go to university.
And then you can tell me why I can't go to university.
All right, Elizabeth, I'll have a chat with her when she gets home. I'm sure she'll be able to see my point of view. She's a reasonable girl, after all. Must get that from my side of the family.
I wish your parents had had the chance to see you in the play, Marigold. I don't think they have any idea how good you were going to be. Even Andrea would have been impressed, although she wouldn't have admitted it. Simon knows it was going to be something special. You probably weren't aware, being in it and all, that he used to sneak into the back of the hall to watch. He asked me not to tell you, thought it might distract you or something. Maybe if your parents had seen you do something like that, their feelings about you would have changed. I don't mean that they didn't love you. They just never seemed to somehow show it very much. I know you felt that sometimes, even though you never let it get to you. But why is it always when it's too late that we wished we'd told people how we really felt? Did I wonder? Do you know how much I'm going to miss you? I'll never have another friend like you, Marigold, never.
Earlier that month, at school conferences.
She really does stand every chance of getting into a good university. She's such a conscientious student, and talented too.
Well, we've always known she was bright, haven't we, dear?
Bright, yes, but that doesn't automatically mean she should go to university. It's not right for everyone, you know.
No, of course, you're right, Mr. Simmons. But in Marigold's case, I do feel...
It's what she wants, isn't it?
Is it? She's never said so to me.
Well, dear, she doesn't often get the chance to talk things over with you, what with you being away so much. And? Well, I think she feels that she wouldn't get a very sympathetic hearing.
What makes you say that?
You don't allow much room for negotiation sometimes.
Look, Elizabeth,
Obviously, it's important that you think Marigold makes the right choices, but I do think we must be careful not to disregard what she wants.
Well, everyone knows how I feel about it.
Yes, dear, everybody knows.
2 months earlier at the shop.
Simon,
Oh, hi.
your sister. I think she's coming to work in our shop, isn't she?
Oh, yeah, Dad sort of persuaded her that it would be a good idea. She's not particularly keen.
Tell her it's all right, really. Saturdays are always busy, so you never have much time to stop and think about what you're doing there. I don't, anyway.
Marigold's much rather be doing her homework or learning lines for the play or something. She's always been like that, but Dad says she needs some training for life, as he puts it. He doesn't seem to understand that not everyone is going to live the same kind of life he has. Thank God.
Perhaps he'll change his mind when he realizes Marigold doesn't want to do it.
Him? Never. He just doesn't see change as an option for himself. Others are the ones who have to change, not him.
Well, tell Marigold it isn't as bad as all that. Alright, it is as bad as all that. Whatever all that is. But it can be a laugh sometimes. You know, occasionally. She'll be okay.
Right. I'll tell her.
Earlier that week at school,
Marigold's really pleased about getting Lady Macbeth, miss.
Well, that was an easy decision to make. There was no one who came close, really.
Vicky was quite disappointed not to get the part, but I think she'll be more effective as a witch.
Yes, Vicky will be fine as a witch.
I just hope Marigold will be able to cope. At home, I mean.
What do you mean?
Well, her mom and dad, they're just not really into plays and things. He wants her to get a job.
I'm sure Marigold will be able to cope, Linda. If she wants to get a job, I'm sure she's weighed up all the pros and cons.
But I don't think she really does want to get a job. Her dad can be sort of off about that kind of thing. He thinks it's more important than school somehow.
Well, Marigold's sensible enough to know what's right for her. She's very talented, at all sorts of things. I'm sure you know that, as her friend.
Yes, of course.
Right then, you don't need me to interfere, do you? Now, about tomorrow's rehearsal. We're doing the sleepwalking scene first. Can you make sure the stage is clear so we can start on time?
Yep, it'll be ready, Miss Traynor.
a couple days earlier, in the town,
You work at that shop, don't you?
Which shop?
The one you work at?
Well, obviously. So what?
My friend may be coming to work there.
Oh yeah? Who's that then?
Marigold Simmons.
Don't think I know her.
Of course, she might not.
Might not what?
Come and work at your shop.
It's not my shop.
You know what I mean.
Well, is she or isn't she?
What?
Coming to work at the shop.
I don't know. She might.
You said that already.
She might not because she's into, school and that.
Oh.
And she's probably going to be in the play.
What's that then?
Macbeth?
Macbeth. Is that the one with the fairies?
Witches.
Oh yeah. So she's not really interested then.
In the play?
In working in the shop?
Oh, doesn't seem to be. Of course, I reckon I know why.
Why is that then?
It's because of the deep-rooted turmoil in her family that just bubbles away beneath the surface. She's not sure of herself, see? Not sure of what she wants. I was reading this book about this Austrian bloke, Fruit or something. He reckons how our whole life is just a dream.
A dream.
Yep.
You mean like if we pinch ourselves, we won't exist anymore? Do me a favor.
That's what it said in this book. Of course, I haven't got to the end yet.
You mean you haven't woken up yet?
Yeah, something like that. Tunnels are important, apparently.
You'll never guess what, Marigold. That girl from the shop you worked in, Jane, I think she's called. She's the new management trainee. They must be hard up. And to think that's what you were being offered. You could have done that standing on your head. But you didn't enjoy working there. I knew that. You only did it to keep your dad happy, didn't you? I wonder if he's happy now. No, I didn't mean that. Did you ever get to talk to him about, the future? I don't suppose so. He'll never really know what you wanted, will he? Maybe he didn't want to. Did I tell you the play's been canceled? It didn't seem right, somehow, carrying on without Lady Macbeth. Well, you can't do a play without one of the main characters, can you? Poor old Macbeth would have had no one to talk to. Except himself, of course. He does that a lot. I think I'll be doing a lot of that too now. Marigold, It's so difficult. It's going to be so difficult.
Earlier that day at home,
You mean she hasn't told you about it?
Marigold and I don't have much in common. She could tell me if she wanted.
She's so excited about getting the part. I thought you'd all be the first to know.
Yes, well, I'm not interested in that sort of thing. I have to earn a living, you know. I haven't got time for prancing about in plays or giving myself airs about going to university.
I bet you could have gone if you wanted. Marigold always said you're really the bright one in the family.
She said that? She's so modest, isn't she? Well, I was bright enough to take my father's advice and go out to work as soon as I could.
Don't you wonder what you might have missed?
No. Why should I?
No reason, I suppose. It's just Marigold is so excited about the way things are turning out for her. It seems strange you and her should be so different.
Yeah, well, we only live in the same house by a quirk of fate, and not for much longer, hopefully. Don't look at me like that, Linda. I'm doing all right.
Oh, Marigold, there you are. Linda's waiting for you.
There she is. You can go off to your rehearsal now.
I hope you'll come and see the play, Andrea. You might be quite surprised by your little sister. She looks up to you, you know.
Well, nobody's perfect. Not even Marigold. Anyway, like I said, I don't have much time for plays. I'm always too tired.
I'd better go. Bye.
You might at least try to take an interest in what the children are doing.
I do take an interest.
There's precious little sign of it. When was the last time you spoke to Andrea about her job, or Marigold about this play she's auditioning for, or Simon about his schoolwork? They think you don't care.
I don't get much chance, do I? You know I'm not home very often.
Yes, Graham, I certainly do know that. You might make more of an effort when you are here, is all.
Well, I'm here now, aren't I? Where are they all? They're not exactly queuing up to seek my advice, are they? I do the best I can, Elizabeth. I've had to make my own way. I didn't have any of the advantages you seem to think our kids should have. I didn't get any of the choices they seem to take for granted. Well, it's a big, nasty world out there, and they'll have to fend for themselves. And I can't see for the life of me how being in a play or going to school will make it any easier for them. You should see some of the people who work with me, the ones with degrees. They're no better off than the rest of us who left school when we were told. Instead of sponging off the taxpayer for 3 years. And then what? Some wonderful job at the end of it? Forget it. You get what you deserve in this life, and what you deserve is what you work for.
Does that include your children?
What do you mean by that?
Well, nothing. Just one day you might turn around and find it's too late.
Don't get clever with me, Elizabeth. If the children ever want to talk to me, they know where to find me.
Do they, Graham? Do they?
at school a week earlier.
Hello, Simon. Not your usual irrepressible self today.
I was just thinking.
Thinking a dangerous pastime for a young man of your age. Who knows what might come of it?
Well, I can't help it, miss. Dangerous or not.
You're late leaving today, aren't you?
I don't feel like going home yet.
Sounds pretty serious. Most of you peers can't wait to get out of the gates. Not that that means they're all rushing off home, of course.
Will Marigold get a part in the play?
Well, Simon, the auditions aren't until next week, and I always keep an open mind when it comes to casting. But I would certainly be disappointed if your sister doesn't audition for a part. She's very talented, I think. Not just in drama, in all sorts of ways. I think she has a very exciting future.
I wish you could tell my mom and dad that, especially Dad. The only future he understands for any of us is the same as his past.
How's Andrea getting on? I always felt she would do well for herself.
Andrea is the empirical proof of the Simon Simmons theory of future expectations is right. She's in a job I know she's going to end up hating because she expected to be, and she expected to be because she feels like she wasn't given a choice. Probably wasn't. And eventually, she'll blame it on the rest of us, especially Marigold.
Well, Simon, I know family conflicts can be difficult to deal with, but I think Marigold knows, and I hope you will too in a couple years' time. But in the end, you have to follow your own instincts. I know that's what Marigold will do. I hope you do too.
It's easy for you to say that, miss. I bet you had it easy.
Well, I hope for your sake that you're not a gambling man, Simon.
I'd better go. Back to the House of Doom.
You'll be all right, Simon, as long as you keep your sense of humor. There's a funny side to everything. You'll see.
I don't know what else to say, Marigold. I bet you know what I'm thinking anyway. You always seemed to when you were. What are you thinking, I wonder? How unfair it all is, perhaps? That's what it seems to me, anyway. I mean, why should someone like you end up as just another statistic? Why couldn't it have been someone else? Then I suppose you have to think about who that someone else might be, don't you? Why does it have to be anyone at all? Because then there wouldn't be any statistics. And of course, you always must have statistics in a well-ordered society. But if you're going to have a statistic, why does it have to be at the wrong time, when so many things are left unfinished, unspoken, when it's too late? What am I gonna do now? That's what I'd like to know. God, how can I be so selfish as to even think a thing like that? We each have our own private feelings, don't we? Things we don't mind admitting to ourselves. We wouldn't like it if anyone else knew what they were, though, would we? So I suppose this is goodbye. It's such a final word, isn't it? Goodbye. Although we never really realize that until goodbye really means goodbye. Do we, Marigold?
I'm going to miss you so much, Marigold. I could always talk to you. I just wish Mom and Dad could have known you as well as I did, Marigold. Now they'll never have the chance to.
What I really felt, Marigold. Even though I was meant to, I know I always seemed indifferent to what you were doing. Simon thinks it was just jealousy. Maybe he's right. I don't know.
I don't know if I ever told you, really, that I hoped you'd go to university, Marigold. Your father was always so set in his ideas. Perhaps I should have been stronger, stood up to him more. But I'm tired.
Tired of people telling me how I ought to deal with my own family. People think I'm narrow-minded, I dare say. But it hasn't done me any harm. And I was ready to give you good advice, Marigold. If only you'd been prepared to listen.
Listen to me, someone. I was your friend, wasn't I? I knew her pretty well, and I knew she was better than me at all sorts of things. Not just acting, but at least she was my friend.
She was my friend. I'm going to miss her.
Miss her. Well, I suppose we'll have to get someone else in the shop now she's gone.
Now she's gone, and we must get on with things as best we can. There'll always be a gap, but time will lessen it. I had such high hopes for her. Perhaps I shouldn't have had, but you can't help it with someone like Marigold.
Someone like Marigold. You don't realize who she is until she's not there anymore.
Not there anymore now, so I'll just have to find another friend. I don't know how.
I don't know how we're going to get through the next few months.
The next few months are bound to be difficult for all of us, but if you want to know what I think...
What I think is Mr. Porter will make me permanent assistant manager before long.
People will be saying, Marigold who?
Marigold who? I'll tell you who. My sister.
Daughter.
Sister.
Daughter.
Pupil.
Friend.
Workmate.
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 Friend. Marigold was my friend. My friend. You are my friend, Marigold. Always, with love, Linda.